In 1975, Kodak engineer Stephen Sasson built a crude digital camera. Why did the firm that patented the idea spend decades defending film and fail to save itself? Through the late 20th century, Kodak dominated a chemical empire, razor and blade film margins, vast coating plants, and a retail photo finishing web of yellow envelopes. Consumers valued prints. Home computers and networks were rare. Early CCDs were noisy, storage slow, and displays limited. Against this backdrop, Sony's 1981 Mavica signaled electronics entrance. Canon, Nikon, and Fujifilm iterated quickly. Inside Kodak, engineers advanced digital sensors and the DCS line for professionals, while Photo CD, 1992, and later APS Advantix, 1996, promised convenience without abandoning film. Leadership cycles, Whitmore, then Fisher, then Karp, faced a hard trade: protect extraordinary cash flows or cannibalize them before demand did. Accounts differ on how reversible the choice looked. Many dealers and mini-labs depended on film processing. Shareholders expected dividends supported by chemistry. Early consumer feedback mixed poor quality with workflow friction. In that uncertainty, waiting for digital to mature and bridging with hybrids appeared prudent enough to bring the future without detonating the present. The mid-1990s boardroom framed three options. Option 1. Double down on film economics. Launch APS Advantix, expand Photo CD and minilab scanning, pacing digital to protect margins. Option 2. Separate and sprint. Create an autonomous digital consumer unit with full cannibalization authority, starve new film capex, and race electronics rivals on cameras, software, and sensors. Option 3. Reposition up the stack, license the Kodak brand sparingly, exit low-end hardware, and invest in sensors, imaging software, and industrial commercial workflows. Kodak chose a time-buying deep strike closest to Option 1, with selective investments from Option 2. EasyShare ecosystems would follow, but the core remained film-anchored through APS and retail processing. 4 implicit bets underwrote the choice. Bet 1. Film prints would stay central. APS convenience would extend the franchise. Bet 2. Digital quality and cost curves would take longer. The firm could dictate adoption tempo. Bet 3. Channel power, mini-labs, retailers, and brand would hold off electronics firms long enough to reposition. Bet 4. Patents and professional leadership, DCS sensors, would secure negotiating leverage and future profit pools. At the time, these bets translated into steady cash for dividends and R&D, less organizational shock, and preserved dealer relations. Management argued that abrupt cannibalization risked collapsing both businesses before consumers, PCs, and broadband were ready. 4 assumptions cracked as the market moved. Information. Early surveys underrated the pull of immediacy. Once image sensors crossed good enough, sharing outran printing. Forecast windows were narrower than planning cycles. Opponent. Electronics firms. Sony, Canon, Nikon, Fujifilm drove relentless sensor, battery, and UI improvements, collapsing price per megapixel and compressing refresh cycles that a chemical company struggled to match. Organization, incentives, KPIs, and career paths were tuned to film P&Ls. Digital teams won headlines but not budget precedents. APS and mini-lab utilization targets quietly vetoed bolder reallocations. Supply chain. Kodak's strengths, coating lines, emulsions, global photo finishing did not translate to fast, modular electronics, firmware, and retail CE channels. The firm was late to software experience and later to CMOS scale economics. It exited sensors rather than consolidating advantage. Accounts differ on how much was avoidable. Yet taken together, these cracks turned a time-buying bridge into a narrowing corridor, with rivals setting de facto standards before Kodak could pivot. The results arrived in layers. Kodak launched EasyShare in 2001 and briefly reached #1 US digital camera unit share around 2004 by some estimates. But profits proved elusive as compact cameras commoditized and Japanese rivals refreshed faster. Photo CD faded. APS underwhelmed consumers and burdened plants. As sensors, memory, and LCDs cheapened, price wars erased margins in hardware, while software and later phones captured the experience. By 2011, Kodak sold its image sensor solutions unit. In January 2012, it sought Chapter 11 protection. Accounts differ on emphasis. One reading credits real constraints. PCs, broadband, and image quality matured late. Any early pivot might still have faced brutal economics. Another stresses capital misallocation. APS and processing anchors delayed a service's software move, and digital leadership in pros failed to translate to mass-market UX. Most agree it was not one decision, but many reinforcing frictions, organizational, channel, and timing, that left Kodak reacting as standards and profit pools migrated elsewhere. Define the bets and thresholds, write explicit cannibalization triggers that force capital to follow the new S-curve before rivals set standards. Separate power. Give disruptive units standalone P&L, talent paths, and the right to obsolete the core without committee veto. Compete on experience. Invest early in software, workflow, and networks where margins migrate when hardware commoditizes. Rebuild supply chains. Acquire or partner to master fast electronics cycles, firmware, and channel data, not just legacy logistics. Scenario test humility. Plan for opponent speed and good enough moments. Pre-commit to exit bridges like APS when metrics miss predefined adoption gates. History does not repeat, but incentive structures rhyme. Kodak taught that invention without reallocation is nostalgia, a memory of the future, managed by the past.